Well, welcome to video 3, and we're going to talk about the keys to a successful group. If you're going to be a successful D group leader, here are some of the things that you need to know. 1, be prepared. John Maxwell has this principle where he calls it the law of the lid, that you're only going to lead people as far as that you're willing to go. And so you need to be prepared when you come into your D group. In other words, you need to have done the reading. You need to have engaged in the focused study because you're going to lead. You might want to even think through some questions that you might want to ask. And so you need to be prepared. And that doesn't mean, again, you don't need to be the smartest person to lead a group. You don't need to be the most seasoned Christian to lead a group. You just need to be prepared. Be prepared. If you are prepared, that's going to go a long ways in your experience as a D group leader. Secondly, be consistent. I think the thing that kills the D group experience more than anything is inconsistency. And that might be inconsistency in meeting, that there's constantly groups are canceling. Now, I understand there's times where that certainly happens, and there's times where people can't be there. And there may be times where you can't be there, and maybe there's somebody in your group that could still lead that group. But you got to be consistent in your attendance in D group in order for it to be successful. The other thing in consistency is just in terms of how you lead the group. If you're leading the group the way it should be, but then at times you're just doing your own thing, what's going to happen is D groups are going to lose its intentionality, and you're going to default to what is usually the easiest or what the group wants more than what we're trying to accomplish through D groups. And I know that there are times where big things come up and there's some flexibility that happens, but really we want you to be as consistent as you can in this process, especially when you're leading these groups to go through what a meeting looks like. The third thing I would say is be encouraging. Be encouraging. Hebrews 10:24 tells us to encourage one another, and all the more as we see the day approaching. And that day, the day of the Lord, is approaching. It's here. We're closer to it today than any other time in history, right? And that will be true tomorrow and the next day after that. But as that day approaches, we need to be encouraging one another, to put courage into one another. Don't always point out where somebody's wrong, or be encouraging. Find out where what they're doing well, and just kind of highlight that. Let the Spirit of God work on them. Or if somebody's not doing their reading, you don't have to be constantly hard on them or shame them. You just encourage them, speak life into them, and let God work in and through that process. Just be encouraging. Also be intentional. If you want to be a successful D group leader, you need to go into your group with intentionality. If you're just kind of leaving it up to whatever happens, then it may be an engaging time, but I don't know that we're going to accomplish what we really want to accomplish in this process. So just be intentional. Go into it and say, all right, God, um, help me to form a plan. I always say that a failure to plan is a plan to fail. And so just think intentionally. When someone is bringing up something or like something big's going on in their life, be intentional about that. Follow up with them. Um, a quick phone call or a text or just even stopping the group just to pray for that person right then. Just be intentional. Listen to the Spirit of God in those moments. Remember, we're creating disciples and we're modeling for them what a disciple looks like. And so just be intentional. Also, number 5, be ready for God to work. Be ready for God to work. When you come into your D group, you're coming in with the expectation that God is going to work through His Word. You're coming in with the expectation that God has already been working through His Word as people have been reading throughout the week. Be ready to help people unearth what the Spirit of God was teaching them in their reading. Be ready to help people see what God is trying to tell them through the focused passage. Anticipate God at work. He's always at work, and He works through His Word. He wants to work through you. And so anticipate that. It would be easy, especially as you've been in D groups for a while, to just kind of go in and it's just the same thing over and over again, right? It's just another meeting. No, it's not another meeting. God is at work, so expect Him to be at work. And then finally, be dependent. Be dependent. If you're going to be a successful D group leader, you need to be dependent upon God. In other words, pray. Ask God to help you in this process of making disciples. Ask God to help you see who He is through His Word. Ask God to help you live out the truth and be obedient to Him. Ask God on behalf of the people that you are discipling. Ask God for help in their lives. Ask God to just work in the lives of your disciples. Lift your people up before the throne of God. Man, we have people that are struggling with all kinds of things. And they need people that are going to support them before the throne of God. So pray, pray, pray. I can't emphasize that enough. Those are the keys to being a successful D group leader. I'll see you in video 4.